much love. All right, let's just rub our palms together for a little bit here. Close our eyes, sit with our spine nice and straight. And just take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths to the belly. We are the connection between earth and sky, yeah? We're the peach fuzz on Gaia. Let's let that skin penetrate, be penetrated. And if you just want to put your right thumb on your right nostril, and we'll just breathe nice and slow up through the left nostril. We'll do some alternate nostril breathing, balance the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Here we go, nice and slow. Count of 8 maybe. And close the left nostril, exhale through the right, nice and slow. Inhale right, and we'll just keep going with that for just a couple seconds here. And we'll rub those palms together one more time. Prayer pose. Nice big inhale all together. And inhale to begin 3 long ohms. Well, it'd be nice to just ohm all night. That'd be what the heck is going on. We make it go on. So, gosh, I have my audio visual is here on the floor in the center. So I'm going to be referring to it a bit, but I'll try to, if you can't see, you'd always be welcome to just stand up and come on over and look, if you would like to do that. So, welcome everybody to What the Bleep is Going On, and that of course is very different for everybody because we're all coming from different pasts. With different patterns, different programs, different intentions on our unconscious soul levels. But there's a couple things we have in common. Number one, we're all in the same room right now. So, yeah. So I'm going to be... yeah, I'll just start talking. And this is like a 2-hour Pele report. If you're familiar with the Pele report, I just talk. That's what I do. So, yeah, I just want to say that, of course, if it resonates, great. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. Like, take what you want, leave what you want. You are your own filter. You are your own, you've got your own core, your own center, your own beliefs, your own trip going on. So, I am not claiming, everything I'm saying tonight is my opinion. This is just my opinion. And if you can resonate with that opinion, great. And if not, super cool too, right? So, and I'm not always exactly sure what my opinion is, but we're going to see what that is. With this much energy here tonight, I very often am a bit of a reflection, a bit of a mirror. I notice that with different groups of people, I say different things. Yeah. But one way or the other, we'll start at the very beginning, and the very beginning is infinity, symbolized in astrology by Pisces. The Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. All that is, no boundaries, no laws, no rules, no separations. It's love. It's unity. It is the oneness of all creation in an infinite potential. So there's no form, there's no structure. It's potential. It's potential. And out of this infinite spirit being, out of this infinite, cosmic potential, Source just says, well, I'd like to experience myself as many different ways as I can. So Source, Spirit creates a whole bunch of souls. Unique individual souls. And as unique individual souls, then, we just bop down out of that multi-dimensional realm of infinite possibility and potential down into this third dimension of time, space, matter, density, money, sex, earth. Come on. But there's a few things that go on before that happens. Yeah? Because with the help of our other spirit beings of great infinite wisdom, they help us and they say, you know what? I think that you would like that DNA and that DNA. And sure enough, those two DNAs bounce together. And there you have it. Yes? So we are born, we choose the parents, the time, the place, the gender, the religion, the language, the financial. I mean, we choose. This is what's going to best suit my purpose in this lifetime. And so, we're all coming from, astrology is based on reincarnation. It is based on a soul choosing the time and the place to draw the first breath of prana. And they cut that umbilical cord and snapshot. As above, so below, as without, so within. The macrocosm mirrors the microcosm. So we choose this, and our birth chart becomes, this mirror of our soul intention. And that's what New Paradigm Astrology is all about, is really looking at, the unconscious spiritual soul intention for this lifetime. And that's what we'll be doing this weekend and tonight. So, from that place, we just kind of want to understand a few different things. Yeah. Of course. Understanding helps. I mean, sometimes it gets in the way, but yeah. After you choose that, and after you are born, things continue to move, right? So we're in this, we're in this quantum field. And of course, this is, we are multidimensional, so the way that astrology works, it's not Newtonian. It's fact, the planets are not doing anything to us. This is all vibration. This is all synchronicity. This is all reflection, right? This is the as above, so below. So we want to kind of step out of that polarized, linear, logical, third-dimensional, ego-driven, dualistic approach or view of self and of reality. Yeah? So, but when we do come down into this time-space continuum, all evolution and all growth occurs through cycles. Yes. We've got moon cycles, we've got sun cycles. It's the birth and the rise of nations, of companies, of even a pregnancy, has the beginning, and then the birth is the finish of that cycle. So we've got cycles upon cycles upon cycles upon cycles, and that's what astrology is. It's the study of cycles. It's the study of evolution occurring through time, and it starts at the impulse, the new beginning. And it goes around to full, and then it disseminates, comes into balsamic, and comes back to where it was before. Only I like to think that it doesn't come back to where it was before. Actually, I think it's a spiral. I think it comes back, but it's just a little bit better. And then it comes back and it's a little bit better. And it comes back and it's a little bit better. Yeah. So we're going to just be looking at all these different cycles. It's almost like a Swiss watch. You've got all these different wheels. Mars every 2 years, Jupiter every 12, Saturn every 28, Uranus 84. So we've got all these different... they call the sun is the day, and the moon is the hour, and the ascendant, the rising sign is the minute. It changes every 4 minutes. You have a new degree on the ascendant, right? So, it's just like... That's why it was very important to start at 7 o'clock. Because the moon is exactly 17 degrees Scorpio. And I wanted to talk about that tonight. Just kidding. Okay. So what we're going to do is, I want to just kind of quickly go through, just so that we all kind of get a little bit on the same page, with all of this. I don't know. I'm sure some of you are, totally into this, and your charts by heart, and some of you don't know anything about this. So we're just going to try to. It's Libra tonight. We're going to balance the scales. So, yeah. So here's this is Pisces, and what we have here is 12 signs, and these 12 signs. 12 is a sacred number. It's ancient. The 12 tribes of Abraham, 12 months in a year, 12 hours in a day. It's 12, 12, 12, 12. Right? The Knights of the Round Table. So we have 12 ways of looking at anything, 12 aspects, 12 mystery schools. Each one of these is a mystery school. And we are all 12 of these. Yeah? So sun sign astrology is just like the bane, of any astrologer, to just go, oh, you're this, and call you a sun sign or something like that, We are all 12 signs, and they are archetypes. They are mystery schools, and we have chosen, according to our unique, intention, to do, we're going to pop this planet here and this planet here, and we're going to... And before we're born, we say, oh, when I'm 38, I've just got to have Pluto hit my sun. So there's a little bit of planning that goes on, for these lifetimes. And it's completely unconscious. That's the cool part. Makes for discovery. and accidents. So we've got 12 is 4 times 3. 4 different elements: fire, earth, air, and water. Right? We have these 4 elements. They work in 4 different manifest forms, shapes. And then we have 3 different modalities. Technically, they call them cardinal, fixed, and mutable. I much prefer Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. It's the Trinity. It's the law of 3. It is create, sustain, destroy. And that's what it's all about. And that's all that's really going on around here. You're either creating, sustaining, or destroying. Yeah? And so, or mutating. That sounds nicer than destroying. So, Scorpio. So, we've got this Pisces energy, and I already talked about Pisces. Pisces is this infinite potential. It's like, whoa, we can't even really grok infinity. So, we have no idea how much potential is out there. Okay? But out of this infinite potential, there will arise within us a soul intention. And it will come through Aries. Cardinal Fire. Yeah? Brahma, creative fire. Boom. And as we can see here, it is the first sign. Yeah? So we come out of 12 to 1. And we're going to just do our journey a little bit around the zodiac here. Okay? To just, kind of orient ourselves. And so I'm going to go a lot faster than I should. So, Aries, Cardinal Fire, okay? And it's just impulse, initiate, start, penetrate, phallus, charge, pioneer, begin, act now, think later. Right? It's the caveman. It is just that, it's the impulse. It's spontaneous. It's comes out of freaking nowhere. And if you know Aries, you know what I'm talking about. Let's do it. Do it. And then it bumps into Taurus. Boom. Fixed earth. Yeah. So it grounds this, this impulse, it just kind of comes in and it wants to take in and come into form, come into the earth, the 5 physical senses, the sensuous physical body that survives in a physical realm, right? So this Taurus is, our resources, and our first resource, is our body, right? To make it through this planetary existence. Yeah. And then, my friend Stephen Forrest, he says, Aries is like the airplane flying across the Amazon, and it crashes. And then Taurus kind of goes, oh, am I still alive? Yeah, I'm alive. And then Gemini says, well, let's get out of this plane and check out the neighborhood. Are there headhunters, cannibals? Is there some food? Any chocolate? So Gemini, is this mutable air, okay? Which is just like, let's mutate and change and, and go and move and communicate, right? The wind, the air, sound goes through the air, so it's intellectual and it blows over the surface of things. So these air signs can be a little on the surface of things, and so Gemini, of course, ruled by Mercury, is just like curious, the eternal youth, right? Mm-hmm. Never gets old, just curious. Variety is the spice of life. Let's try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the other, yeah, until it kind of goes, because you can only go so far with your head, and then it comes into Cancer. And Cancer, like all the water signs, has to do with endings, right? And so, this in a way is kind of like this ending of this kind of impulsive, auto, just charge, go. And now Cancer wants to create a nest. It's water, it's home, nurturing, holding, feeling,
coming into my inner child, wanting safety and security, for that innocent, it's like, we just kind of landed. So, we come out of that airplane, we want to build shelter. All right? We want some shelter. So this is kind of like the end, in some ways, it's almost like the end of innocence, right? And this is like another birth. So this we kind of say is like unconsciousness being birthed into Leo. Fixed fire. Self-consciousness. Yeah? So it's different than Aries fire. Aries fire is impulse. Leo's fire is, that's my impulse. I created that impulse. Cancer's the baby, Leo's the teenager, So, it's like, let's create. Let's be agents of life. I'm a ray of sun, and the sun makes things grow and multiply, and let's party. Yeah? So, Leo is about this, creatively expressing ourselves in a new, purposeful way. Yeah? And so it's this, kind of this height, of this self-consciousness, right? I think Cancer and Leo are the two most personal signs. They take things personally, okay? And then they come into, boom, Virgo. Yeah? Mutable earth. Yes? The virgin goddess, this energy. Now, this is a very powerful location here, right? I call this the axis of initiation. Virgo Pisces axis. Because she is the sixth sign. Okay? And so she is really, it's this initiation from self of Leo into relationship and partnership and other people. Libra. So it's about integrating myself into the world, myself outside of myself. So it's also, this is the house and the sign of work, of service, of like get your shit together so that you're acceptable, so that you're beautiful, so that people want to even talk to you. Take a shower. Whatever, Virgos are in the shower. Anyway. So, and then, yes, right? So out of this Virgo, which can even be kind of a crisis, right? Yeah, Virgo does have to deal with, wanting things to be perfect and in order and analyze it and categorize it. And sometimes it gets a little worried or gets a little stomach problems or has a little hard time sleeping, gets a little anxious because things aren't just that way that they should be. In order for Libra to go, oh yes. Yes? So this is opposite of Aries. This is all polarities, okay? If we balance these 6 different axes, I swear there's just like this suction, this is a black hole. Right? So it's all about balancing the polarities here. So we want to balance self and impulse and fire, right? With air, consciousness. So this is listening, right? This is acting. Okay, this is the beauty. This is the beast. This is all about, cooperation, compromising, connecting. And of course, it is cardinal air, so it wants to initiate through conversation. And you look so nice tonight. And that's very nice. And it's very tactful, very diplomatic. It makes for good peace treaties and stuff. Until it gets, of course, to Scorpio. and so then now we have Scorpio is the end of this self-consciousness that began in Leo. It's death and finish. Close, complete, through alchemical transformation. Merging and uniting, and through osmosis, becoming what we relate to. So if I want something, I'm going to relate to it, and I'm going to absorb it, right? And it's going to transform me and change me. So this is the sign of the shaman. Yes, this is this alchemist. And it is this ending of self through this merging with another in order to birth, right? In Sagittarius, then we have, a transpersonal consciousness. So now we're at the 9th sign, and this is mutable fire. And so here we have, this is the thought axis. Gemini is the left brain, Sag is the right brain. Okay? And of course, you can go on with all kinds of things, but, Sagittarius is philosophy, the meaning of life, travel, world religions, and, I want to expand my consciousness to understand it all. Right? So it's religions and everything that tries to give us meaning, which is a very fundamental need as human beings. To have a sense of meaning to our existence and the events in our life, to make sense out of them. Otherwise, it's a little too chaotic and can cause a tremendous amount of pain. Sagittarius then leads us into Capricorn, right? And this Capricorn is the 10th sign, and this is the security axis. So Cancer wants emotional security. Capricorn wants physical, financial security. And so this is about taking these natural laws that were learned and making man-made laws, man-made institutions, governments, corporations. This is external authority. It's ruled by Saturn, right? Chronos, time and space, which brings consequences. It's the ruler of the third dimension, Newtonian physics. For everything you put out, you're going to get it back. That's our Capricorn Saturn kind of energy, right? So, yes, and of course we could go on about any one of these for the whole night. And then we go on to Aquarius. And Aquarius, okay, now this is the thing. Like I say on the Paleo Report, I'm sure many of you have heard. I don't think Aquarius is air. I think Aquarius is outer space. We have 2 air signs, but Aquarius is beyond. Yes, it has to do with enlightenment, with liberation, with science, technology, with the future, with everything that is beyond. So it's beyond this earthly atmosphere. It's extraterrestrial intelligence, right? So this is the collective consciousness, super powerful, super big, and also very impersonal. It's very cold out there in space. It's the opposite of fiery, warm, cuddly Leo, that wants to just play and have romance and candlelight dinners. Aquarius is kind of like, I'll Google you in the morning. I can just imagine section 2. So then we, so this is like, but this is kind of like breaking out, right? It's breaking free from that Saturn, Capricorn, third dimensional into. I look at Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, is associated with the third eye, right? So there's this laser beam ability, right, to really know, to really see. And then that leads into Pisces, right? Cosmic consciousness. So we've gone from the un to the self to the trans to the cosmic, right? And so Pisces is, very hard because it's everything and it's nothing, right? It's the sewage and garbage workers and the highest nirvana yogi masters. It's artists, muses, drug addicts, anything that is otherworldly, that helps us to avoid, escape, deny, lift off, open, and it rules devotion, discipleship, humility, humbling ourselves at the foot, right, of the great teachings. And to me, it's also about so much to do with, and maybe could talk about the spiritual stage. There's these different stages of evolution that we have, yeah. And this is kind of a movement from the head to the heart, yeah. And that is the movement from, we have 3/4 of the world's population is in the consensus stage. They decided to drop into Earth
It's their first, couple hundred lifetimes. They learn about time and space and money and management and this and that and the other. And they flip your veggie burgers or whatever. They just kind of follow the rules, pay attention to external authorities, or and then after hundreds of lifetimes they become the managers of the veggie burger place. And then they move to the top, the third stage, and they move to Ibiza. No. There's no consensus people here. Right, no, but they do. They get to the top. They are the lawyers and the doctors and the politicians and the businessmen and the billionaires and the movie stars and they set the tone. They set the rules. They become the external authorities. Yeah? They are the Faucis amongst us. Whatever, right? They're at the top. They're at the top of that heap of what is like right in front of our face and like what's right here. And then there's so many, after so many lifetimes there, you can actually maybe get stuck there for a little while. But at some point, the psychology of the day doesn't help your schizophrenic son. The medicine of the day doesn't treat, your spouse that dies of cancer. The what is present is not adequate. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fill the need for wisdom, for meaning, for depth of experience, right? And so you rebel. And you move into the individuated stage. And this is 20% of the population. This is 1 out of 5 people move into this individuated stage where they rebel. Get lost. I don't need external authority. I'm going to be my own freaking authority. Don't tell me what to do. I'm moving to Ibiza. You think I'm going to wear a mask? Fuck. But we won't go there. Maybe until later. So anyway, it's the rebel, right? And then, but that rebel starts to build their own center, their own core, and then they become more of the artist. They become more of the entrepreneur. They become more of the I have found something unique and special that I have to offer, that I have to give. Right? And they rise up and they rise up and they rise up and they end up, up here like Einstein, up here like Da Vinci or Beethoven or, maybe Tesla or, what's his name? Elon, these guys, they're at the top of the genius, right? Just sharp, top of their field. Individuated. If we consider, the infinite spiritual world as the ocean, we are like waves, right? And we separate. We come up like this huge wave, and maybe we're at the individuated. We're just a white bubble that completely separates. But eventually, guess what? The wave wants to return to source. So this is the source actually of all evolution, is the dual coexisting desires within the soul. The desire to separate from the source that created us, and the desire to return to the source that created us. Every desire that we have boils down to one of these two essential coexisting desires. And this is the source of evolutionary growth. So at some point, we separate and we individualize and we become the spiffest, coolest thing that ever was. And then we need to jump out of our mind, out of our individual genius, out of our awesomeness, right? And we go right down to the spiritual stage. And we could say maybe 4 or 5% of the population is in this spiritual stage. And it begins with great, great devotion. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I am devotion incarnate. I am just love. I am innocent, open, pure, clean, just purged and just a breath of fresh air. Yeah. And then that rises and becomes more of the guru or the teacher, and starts getting more capable of moving energy and feeling energy and channeling energy and sensing things that other people don't sense. Seeing, hearing, touching, feeling things that other people don't see, touch, hear, or feel. Right? And you start becoming, more awake to other worlds. Yes, and then finally that's that spiritual stage. Boom, you're like Buddha, Jesus, whoever. You don't have to come back. You graduated from the school of planet Earth, so you hit Pisces, and you're gone. So this is this kind of movement that happens with every little change. Okay, and then. Okay, of course, with these, after lifetime and lifetime and lifetime and lifetime. So when we say, what the heck is going on? What the heck is going on is very different for the consensus. 3/4 of the population, that votes with their ballots and says, I want this one to lead or whatever, right? Versus, yes, the individuated versus the spiritual. In very many ways, I was just thinking of it the other night, it just came to me. It's like life is like a Monopoly game, and the consensus is they are in their little car, or the little thing that they're moving around the board. It's like, and Broad Street is like real, and the money is real, and the game is real, and they want to win. And then you come to another level, another plane, is just kind of moving around and whatever. But I think the final is just that the game is just to bring the people together. So tonight, the astrology is just Monopoly, just to bring and harmonize and connect our frequencies, all in the same room. So, there's something special alchemical here, because if one person left, the whole alchemy would change, right? So, like each one of us is contributing something very unique and special to this energetic field that we're in. And so, we can become more and more and more attuned to that. So I want to, talk tonight about, what is going on, because what's really going on, I feel, is an initiation. A planetary initiation. And this initiation, has certain aspects to it that every initiation has, and then some that are a little more unique to our particular time. So we want to just understand, number one, that it was in 6,500 BC. It was the age of Cancer and the sub-age of Capricorn that we came into the patriarchy. Yes? And the birth of the patriarchy was basically that prior to that, right, men thought that women were goddesses giving birth out of nothing. And when they found out that this goes in and that comes out of the same frickin' place, things changed. That's mine. Yeah, there was a big shift. Big shift in the whole masculine, feminine, yin-yang interaction, interpenetration, relationship. Yeah? And through these, last, that's thousands of years, we have been evolving. And of course, the masculine has so many. We could look at before then. It was almost like Lemuria, or we were just kind of water beings, living in our astral bodies. We didn't even have physical bodies, with previous incarnations of Earth. So we have been in a place of being very unindividualized, and this patriarchal time has been, as part of the evolution of our species, of humanity on this earth, has been to individualize. And we have individualized just about as goddamn much as we can. It's time for a change. Yeah? We're all so unique, and we're all so separate,
Now now we're wearing masks, and hiding out from it. Separate. So much separation. Yeah? And hierarchical. Okay? Kind of this top-down need to know kind of energy that has been going on, for such a long period of time. So we are in a huge transition. We're in this huge transition of it's no longer matriarchy and it's at the end of the patriarchy. So what the heck is next? Yeah, it's an open field. Yeah, it really is an open field of co-creation for us. And so, but there is this insecurity. Okay, there is this sense of what has been secure, stable, solid, dependable, reliable is no longer safe, solid, secure, dependable, and reliable. What do I hold on to? Yeah? What do I believe in? Well, where am I going? Why am I here? Lots of the deeper questions arise, out of the result of this insecurity, which is, of course, part of this initiation process that we're talking about. And we can just say that, if we've been in this for 8,000 years, I have to at least give it 500 years of a transition. I like to say 1776, 1750 to 2250 is a good 500-year transitional time. Yeah? That where we have a number of lifetimes, where we can really kind of make this transition out of this male-dominated, hierarchical, patriarchal, movement. Within that cycle, then, we can also say we are also emerging out of this age of Pisces. Jesus Christ brought it in. He was the fishes. We're moving into Aquarius. I said third eye. Right? I said, there is this awakening that is occurring. So it's coming out of the dream, the sleep, the faith, the hope, the follow, the guru, the teacher, the rabbi, the priest, the president, the billionaire, the Hollywood movie star, or whatever, who's ever the biggest on Twitter? I don't know. And it's kind of following now leads you to challenges. So we're moving into this this age this age of Aquarius. It's 2,000 years. We are the seed people. We are the beginners of this age of Aquarius. We will not experience the age of Aquarius in these bodies. Okay, maybe our children's children's children. I give it 3-4 generations are going to go, oh yeah, this is Aquarius. Yeah, right now we're in this birth process, right? Aquarius has always been associated with the atmosphere, of our planet. Yeah, and so it also has to do, of course, then with society. Yes, the 11th house, Aquarius, friends, groups, associations, corporations, particularly global corporations, and now, of course, the World Wide Web with social media and everything that ties us together in cyberspace. So we have this whole trip going on, where we're coming out of faith, hope, love, beauty, and the dream, into, oh, wow. And it's very interesting, too, because we also have to look at the polarities. We have to look at shadow. The shadow for the last couple thousand years was Virgo. Yeah? Burn those herbalists.
at the stake. Women are the shadow. The virgin, the beautiful, together, gorgeous goddess. Okay, it's like, whoa, that's a little too tempting, a little too earthy. We got to stay in the convent or the ashram or what, and renunciate. Yeah, this beautiful, gorgeous earthiness, right? And as we move now into Aquarius, oh my God, Leo is the shadow. Yeah, Leo. I'm special. I'm unique. There's nobody like me. Right? And I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to create what I want. I'm a queen. I'm a king. I'm a lion. I'm a lioness. I am the center. As Leo's ruled by the sun, the center of the solar system. Don't fuck with me. Well, that's the shadow. Aquarius is like, you know what? We're going to shoot you full of nanobots, you bastard. Oh, just kidding. Okay, so we have it's an interesting dynamic, because I also feel like this coming into our own genius, which is what Uranus is about, right? This coming into our own genius, it really does have to do with the kind of this sovereignty, and this going in, and really identifying, okay, what is unique, what is special, and coming into this special. Like, being special does not disqualify anyone else from being special. Like, everyone can be special. So maybe we're getting over this kind of patriarchal, kind of specialness, like there can only be a couple of them. So, I love unity in diversity. Yeah, diversity. And Aquarius, some of this ideal, can have to do with that. So, these are some of the bigger cycles. I just want to take these bigger cycles, and we're just going to get more specific and more specific until we run out of time. And so our next one is going to be then, of course, Pluto. Yeah, here's Pluto. Of course he's black. He's death. He's the end. He's the underworld. And it's very interesting, actually, because before him was Ereshkigal and Hela. It was always a woman in the underworld. Just the Greeks. They had to stick a guy down there. And then he got so fucking miserable, right? He had to grab Persephone. I can't stand it. I down here. I'm all alone. Anyway, he's pretty heavy duty. In the new paradigm astrology that I look at, we view Pluto as symbolizing the soul. When we look at your astrological birth chart. So it has to do with your soul consciousness, with where you have been in your past lives, with the themes that you have been developing. And this Pluto goes around every 248 years. So we have generations, right? Soul groups of people that come in together. It's like, oh yeah, I was with you on Ibiza before. Pluto was in Leo, through the 40s and 50s till like 57, 58. Yeah, past lives as kings and queens, the I, me, my, Pepsi generation, right? The baby boomers. And then, from like 58 to what? 58, 68, 72, Virgo. Just work. Fix yourself, fix the world, fix your partner. Fix it. The healers, okay, right? Just like really coming in. The yoga teachers, the nutritionists. Okay, let's get it together. Yeah, and then of course from Libra, okay, 72 to 84, right? Pluto moves through Libra. Let's get divorced. More relationships. Let's start. I want to love the one you're with. It's just this whole dynamic change, but also having to do with justice, peace, balance, harmony, right? Social justice. So there's this whole kind of wanting to bring beauty and harmony to our relationships and to the world. Yeah, the peacekeepers. gave way to 84 to 96, Pluto and Scorpio generation. Yeah? The shamans, right? The tattoo artists, the piercers, it's like, yeah, let's get down, deep, in, go to the underworld. Yeah? Have some deep Kundalini experiences in that root chakra, baby. Right? It's really going on down there. Oh my goodness. And then 96 to 2008, Sagittarius. Right? So we now the gurus, the past life gurus come in. The wisdom keepers, the anthropologists, right? The archaeologists, the historians, the philosophers, a whole generation of teachers. And then 2008 to 2024, Capricorn. A bunch of bosses. Mom and Dad, would you fucking grow up? I'm supposed to go to bed now. And you're supposed to put me to bed. This is, we have now, a very powerful group of soul beings coming in to restructure, reform. This is so much, this whole Capricorn, and this has to do with laws, rules, boundaries, governments, corporations, the way that we really, set limits and have consequences. So we're in this time period, yeah? And of course now we can talk about, this collective, because, for all of us right now, Pluto is in Capricorn. And in the Pele report, I talk about, Pluto in Capricorn. From 2008, we can remember when it first came into Capricorn, we had the financial crisis, right? Well, hey everybody, let's look at our physical financial security, right? And it's been moving through. And now it's in the last decan. Right? You can break each one of these into 10 degrees, 10 degrees, and 10 degrees, because they're each 30 degrees, and each 10 degrees has its own undertone, we could say. So it's in these final degrees that really even it's been building, okay? And so, we have this energy, and, what can I say? I'm talking as fast as I can, so I want to say everything, but, the force of evolution works in one of 4 different ways. Yeah? Depending upon your resistance to evolving. And this can be individually or this can be collectively. If you want to evolve, hip, hip, hooray for you. Yeah? And this, Pluto can come around and give you, right, remembrances of past life developments. You can sit down at a piano at age 42 and you become Liberace. Right? You can pick up a paintbrush and, oh my God, I must have been a painter in my last life. You can. So you can have a Pluto transit and your life can actually whoa. Your Kundalini, you can have a Kundalini awakening. Pluto rules Kundalini and the root chakra. So it's like, you can have an explosive rebirth through a Pluto transit. Second, relationship. You can meet Pluto. Come to me. And you have this hypnotic, I'm never going to be the same. You meet, a soulmate, a twin flame, someone who just whoa. My life is completely transformed since I met this person, right? Second way that works. The third way. Well, I don't really want to evolve. I'm kind of afraid of, unknown stuff. I kind of like it where I am. I got a nice house on Ibiza, overlooking the beach. I got a boat, Ferrari. Whatever, But anyway, it does come into stagnation. Stagnation. Just where... Even we're facing a lot with lockdown, right? A year of stay home. Deal with yourself. or your spouse or your family or your, it's so, stagnation is I can't stand this job one more day. I can't stand this person one more day. I can't stand this island one more day. I've got to make a change. It's like the walls are closing in, the sky is falling, and you're just like, oh, ooh. And if you're still stubborn, finally, right, Pluto will remove whatever is blocking you from fulfilling your unconscious soul intention. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, money, spouse, house, job, car. Pluto doesn't really care about these temporary things. Yeah? So you can have people pass. You can have tremendous, painful experiences where there is loss, betrayal, and abandonment. These are the three main issues that come up with Pluto, Scorpio, and the 8th house. Yeah? Very difficult emotional experiences. Yeah? So as it moves through this Capricorn, collectively, this is our government. This is our, these are our institutions. These are external forms of authority are becoming more Plutonian. And what is Pluto? But, Pluto in Scorpio has to do with, and Scorpio is, like I said, twin flame, soul mate, soul union. It is emotional attachment. You've got something I want. Yeah? Charisma, money, good looks, intelligence, big following on Instagram, whatever it is. But we relate to those who have something that we want. And it's not only people. It can be institutions. The church or Starbucks or, I attach. But I emotionally attach to this person, place, or thing that is beyond my control. Forces beyond our control. We cannot control another person. We can't control the stock market. We can't control taxes or inheritance or insurance or so if all these Mother Nature. So this is this boundary of power in what I know and can control, and powerlessness in what I don't know and I can't control. So Scorpio Pluto energy is always dealing with power, wanting to evolve into more power and have more power and master more power, but needing to get it. So it's admitting or owning that, and then it's giving that power away to something. It rules fucking too. Yeah. The moon is there tonight. I suppose that's why I'm kind of going into Scorpio a little bit. But I just want to understand that, Pluto is very often, like I say, it comes into your life like Dracula. It comes into your life like a big, powerful person, or a rich person, or a police officer, or somebody that you are, that is more powerful than you, that you can, and it's like, whoa. And when it's in Capricorn, it's the government. Now the government is Pluto. The governments are saying, stay home. Get a shot. Wear a mask. Close your business. So we have it's kind of like this Pluto kind of energy. Okay, that that is really pushing each and every one of us to our limits of how much we are going to allow external authority, right, to dictate our decisions. Yeah. So we're all, we're all dealing with this, so this, and it's very interesting actually that Pluto is coming up. The United States was born in 1776. We have a birth chart, for the United States, and it has Pluto at 27 degrees 32 minutes. Pluto is now at 26 degrees. In February of 2022, Pluto will it'll be the first Pluto return. for the United States since it was born, and that was the Revolutionary War. Breaking away from Britain, breaking away from a king that was taxing, and so there was this whole declaration of independence, right? And now Pluto is returning to where it was at that particular time. And not only that, but then we also have Saturn. Saturn. Kronos. Father Time. Lord of Karma. Goes around every 28 years. It has to do with the 7-year itch. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77. Those are the years. Those are your Saturn years. Yeah. Or thereabouts. It speeds up and goes retrograde and stuff. But yeah, so it goes around, and it's actually the ruler of Capricorn, right? And, it came through Capricorn until, guess what? It had a little council with Pluto. Yeah. And, that was in December, yeah, of 2020. Yeah. I'm sorry, 2019, January of 2020. And then it went retrograde. Right, and it came in and passed over and went all the way up to 2 degrees Aquarius, and then came back again. And in the meantime, Jupiter, expansion, opportunity, more, abundance. Go for it. Yeah, step on out. Yeah, goes around every 12 years. So you have 12, 24, 36, 48. Those are your Jupiter years. Yeah. and it came around, right? And in March, okay, in March of 2020, it hit Saturn and Pluto. So we had this little dance going on all through 2020. And the last time that these 3 planets came together in the sign of Capricorn was in 1894 BC. 4,000 years ago, we had these 3 planets all come together right here in the sign of Capricorn. So this also began a new cycle. So we are, right, this is so Pluto is a destruction and reconstruction, death and resurrection. Death of our old understanding of authority, okay, of laws, of rules, of boundaries, of time and space and karma and consequences and order and structure. It's like the end of the old. And then Saturn comes around, and it also has to do with this restructuring, reforming. And Saturn is where we grow the most. It has to do with maturity, because all things mature through time, and it is time, right? And so it comes through Capricorn, and then what did it do? Well, it moved up into Aquarius, where it was joined by Jupiter, and Jupiter and Saturn, they come together every 20 years. This is a 20-year cycle. And it was right at the beginning of Aquarius. Just like the beginning of a new Aquarian age. And so Saturn is going to, be, really from, I think it's like March of 20 to March of 2023. It's going to spend 3 years in this sign of Aquarius. And of course, if you have planets in Aquarius, it's opposite Leo, square Taurus, and square Scorpio. You guys are getting Saturn. Yeah. Like, grow up. He is the great master teacher. And he is a master teacher through teaching, through delays, boundaries, laws, rules, structures, right? You need to prove yourself. You need to graduate. I look at Saturn transits as graduation. And it's a test. Are you old enough? Patient enough? Determined enough? Disciplined enough? Right? I mean, he is like the taskmaster that says, grow up, get it together, become more objective, find your elder, get patient, right? Step out, step back. And so he has to do with separation. And here he is in Aquarius. Social distancing. I mean, it's perfect. Aquarius is the collective, okay, and Saturn is separation. And we are restructuring society. And of course, it's also a lot to do with artificial intelligence. The whole transhumanism, the whole technological, how technology is impacting our social interactions. Okay, is becoming like more and more of a focus, right? On this path of this evolution. Yeah, and of course. Jupiter only spends about a year in a sign, okay, but he's moving into Pisces next January, right? January or February. He's only spending in May. He just whips through Pisces. I mean, he actually went and dipped his feet in Pisces for a little while there and came retrograde, and he's going to shoot through from January to May. He spends like 5 months in Pisces and shoots off into Aries. Yeah. But during so from now this year of 2021, Jupiter has been also moving here through the sign of Aquarius, making tremendous number of advances and expansion and opportunities through science, through technology, through social media, through different ways, and through Zoom meetings, and through Instagram and Facebook, and all these other techniques. And of course, I will also say that there's a tremendous amount of science happening that is covert, that is not in the newspapers, that is not public. There's a lot of science going on behind the scenes right now. So we may not necessarily be witnessing or hearing or benefiting from some of the advances that are now being made. But Jupiter in Aquarius definitely says that, CERN is active, and, all of our scientists are definitely very busy these days. Yeah. And so then he's going to go into Pisces. But what I wanted to point out here, I'll stay with a little bit more of an overview. But let's just briefly say, you can see here, okay, that so much is in the final stages. 10, 11, and 12. Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Just think of it. By January 25th, Mars is up here. Okay, in a couple of days, the moon goes around, and in a couple of months, boom, boom, boom. Okay, then we've got what? We've got everything. Right? We've got everything coming together here within 120 degrees. Yeah. This is called a locomotive pattern, yeah? And actually Mars is going to actually be the kind of the handle, the engine of the locomotive is going to be Mars from January 25th until it conjoins and conjuncts with Pluto in February. Yeah, no, it's actually March 3rd. March 3rd, and Jupiter, and actually Venus does a whole retrograde, and we have a Pluto. Venus-Mars-Pluto conjunction, March 3rd. It's going to be a very special day. It's exact at the same degree, 27 degrees. Anyway, I just wanted to point out that this is the 270 degree square, okay, is the third quarter square. It's a crisis in consciousness, and after this crisis in consciousness, things begin to wane. This is looked at as the midheaven point in the chart, or 12 o'clock noon, and everything starts to set.
That's why this has to do with looking forward to the future. And Pisces in the 12th house has to do with ending, finishing, closing, completing, surrendering, allowing, accepting, and just letting go. And you can see that we are in this cycle. Okay, so Saturn is going to be moving on through 2023, right, and going to Pisces. And we're going to have this Saturn-Neptune conjunction going on. By then, Jupiter has moved on. And Saturn and Neptune are going to be coming together at 0 degrees of Aquarius. Yes? From July of 2020, Aries, I'm sorry, thanks. From 2020, July of 25 to February of 26. We have this, and then Jupiter has moved on, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit now more about Uranus will also be moving out of Taurus into Gemini in late 2025. Pluto moves into Aquarius in 2024. Chiron moves into Taurus in 2026. So it's very interesting that we have a long, there's what we see is a huge shift coming, but it's not going to be till 2025, 2026. So we're kind of now in this, in this phase, okay, where, yes, we're kind of, they shot the gun and the horses are out of the gate. And it's pretty chaotic. What's going on? Okay, but I'll tell you what, some are going to go take the lead and some are going to fall back. There's going to be like more clarity coming. But it is also about, really coming through a little bit of, I kind of look at it like the gauntlet. Yeah, and I want to talk now a little bit then about initiation, because if we think of initiation, whether it's the Egyptian temples or all through ages of time, initiation has definite stages. Right? First there is the removal of what is familiar, known, and secure. Right? The initiate is taken out of his family, out of his, school, out of his whatever, to be initiated. Right? So we have this kind of stripping away, that is first. And then isolation. Lockdown. Yeah, you are. It's like nobody to count on, nobody to rely, nobody to decide, nobody to help, nobody to there is this kind of like, whoa, I'm alone in this, right? And then there is the exposure to a new paradigm. To a new process, a new way of being, a new way of living, a new philosophy, a new orientation towards reality. There's a different reality is presented to the initiate, and then the initiate needs to plug in or decide, or that is like really, that's where the decisions, right, need to be made to whether the initiate is initiated or not. Yeah? And so I really feel like we're, this time period now is this initiation, and this initiation will definitely, by 2026, okay, we will, really have faced our demons. We will have faced our fears. We will have faced our limitations. We will have faced everything that is stopping or blocking or inhibiting or limiting, our full creative self-manifestation. In that we can then go forward, yes, in this creative, I would say, it's like a unity energy, right? It's the diverse creative individuals gathering together in a new, different way. And we have to just kind of, You got timekeeping. I have no idea.
8:25.
8:20. Okay. You guys all right?
Yeah.
You wanna hear some more?
Great.
Anybody sleeping? Okay. So Uranus to do with discovery, the aha moment. Aha! And it can be a good aha, like aha, or it can be aha, bastard. But one way or the other, you're waking up. So it goes around, like I say, every 84 years. It spends about 7 years in a sign, and it's decided to spend almost 8 years in Taurus. So from 2018, it went into Taurus, and it's going to stay there until 2025, 2026. Now, I talked about Taurus a little bit, right? Sitting bull. Here comes Uranus. It's the Tower card. Yeah? Uranus rules lightning, electricity, right? Sudden, shocking. Okay, and so here's Taurus. Of course, this is cryptocurrency. This is the banking system. This is our money. This is our, it's survival. Taurus is, it's our earthly, physical survival. It's food. It's how we make an income. It's businesses. It's economy. It's the economy. So it's, Uranus is, you better discover, you better innovate, you better invent, you better, it's like, really discover new ways of surviving, new capacities, new talents, new ways of earning money, new ways of making a living, new ways of, managing your resources. Taurus is our capabilities, our capacities. And the other aspect of Taurus that I always say is it's unconditional self-love. Learning unconditional self-love. I am valuable. The moon's exalted in Taurus. Venus rules Taurus. This is this feminine Gaia energy of I am beautiful. I am deserving. I am love. I receive. Bring it on. Are you blind? Can't you see it? So it's just like, whoa. So this is also, it's really time for each of us, and collectively to like open up, to this powerful, the talents, the capacities, the abilities. What I really understand this time to be is, and this is this creative genius of Leo, Aquarius axis is the creative axis. What we're really contacting, what this initiation is all about, in my opinion, obviously, is this, the unfathomable capacity to create that each one of us has. Tapping into our full creative potential. Oh my God. Yeah? Individually. If each one of us was fully tapped in to our creative potential in this room, the whole fucking world would change, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not just our thought is creative. There's all this, the power of positive thinking. Okay, that's part. Okay, that's the tip of the iceberg. Okay? We have a creative power that is profound. And we better get in touch with it. It's like, we are getting squeezed. We're getting pushed. You find your power or else. We'll overpower you. It's kind of like, okay, wow, you don't know how strong you are until you have to push
up against Pluto and Capricorn. You see what I'm saying? So this is, it's kind of painful. It's kind of like, don't do that, until it's like, wait, this is not going to go away. I need to create, or I need to come up with, I need to invent or reinvent myself, or innovate, a new, way of walking through the world. So this is very, and of course what else we have going on all through this freaking year is what? Saturn square Uranus. So we have the social distancing, we have society, we have the governments and all the institutions and big pharma and whoever, even Facebook and YouTube telling us what we can post and not post, and whatever, this, that, and that. It's just like this is a 90-degree, I call it, creative tension. A square in your chart is creative tension. It creates this tension, like turning your guitar strings super tight, Bang! So we're all getting plucked. And this is, of course, Uranus is your nervous system. Saturn is vitamin C, calcium, your bones. I'll get to the immune system here with Neptune, Pisces, that's coming. But right now we're just really kind of looking at Uranus's the fluctuations and the crypto going up and down and currencies going up. It's going to continue on, like I say, for another 4 or 5 years. And the square from Saturn, I thought, okay, it's been going on all this year. It came around in like March. And then it went retrograde back in July, and now it's going to come back. Saturn is stationing and going direct this week. 6 degrees, 52 minutes, right? And so it's going to start moving forward again. And Pluto just turned direct, and Jupiter is going to be turning direct shortly, within a couple of weeks, I think, right? So things have been, things like they came forward in January, February, and March with, some new laws, new ideas, new businesses, new opportunities, new people, new relationships. And then if I wanted to do that, or I got this plan or this agenda, or I set this goal, or I started this in motion, the retrograde is I need to readjust, and I need to reflect, and I need to change. I need to modify. I need to shift in order to make room for this new, element that came forward in January, February, and March. And now when they go direct, we're going to see, this is like the conclusion, this is the resolution, this is the completion, okay, of like this 9-month pregnancy of 2021, like what you've been working on or what you've been initiating, or, we're going to start seeing now the results, okay, the harvest of where you've been putting your time, energy, and attention over these last 9 months. October and November and December is going to be the, okay, wow. Like it's coming back, what goes around comes around. Yeah? What we put out, comes back. And depending on where you put it, and if you put it, of course there's all kinds of, that can go farther. But the trippy part about it is, and I thought, okay, usually like a Saturn transit is like 9 months usually, and it's gone. Well, doggone it. Next year, it goes up to 25 degrees, and it comes back to 18, and squares Uranus again in October of 2022. What? So it's like, this is the square that will not go away. It's like, oh my God. Yeah? So there are some constrictions, restrictions, boundaries. There is really. It's like the pressure is going to still remain, kind of on through, I'm looking at 2022 as being pretty intense. I have to say, it's, it is, we're kind of, we're kind of at that threshold, and Saturn, of course, is the guardian of the threshold. And the North Node has been in Gemini for the last year and a half. And you can even look to Mercury, because Mercury rules Gemini. In your own natal chart, this has been a year for all of us to look at our Mercury and really be doing our Mercury. Yeah? Okay? And of course, the path of least resistance, okay, is Sagittarius, right? This is the South Node. In the Vedic, they'd say it's evil. It's the bad guy. Rahu's the good guy. We got the good and the bad guy over there, And of course, this is we could call it the honesty axis, or dishonesty. A lot, Sagittarius and Gemini have a lot to do. This kind of figuring out, okay, what is true, what is honest. So we have, mainstream media. We've got all these lies. We've got all this bullshit. We've got, all these, teachers or people who say they know, and everybody knows everything. All you got to do is post something on Facebook, and you'll get all the Sagittarian comments. You're right. No, you're wrong. No, So there's been a lot of judgment, right? Some of the shadow around Sagittarius can be a little bit of judgment, and as well as, of course, fanaticism, fascism. Just being really fanatical, and religious jihads and suicide bombings, and just kind of religious wars and things. All kinds of belief systems that can really have a negative manifestation. Versus this North Node in Gemini. Gemini, this is almost like the teacher and the student. So this has been a good time to be a student. Research, study, look at both sides. Gemini is, everything's in twos, right? And it's curiosity, okay? And it's kind of this youthful sense of humor. Air signs are more objective, and you can laugh about things, instead of like, I've got to be right, or you're wrong, or So Gemini is just like, chill out, man. Go to Ibiza. No, it's not chill there, man. It's intense. Okay, but anyway, what's happening now, as of January, the nodes are shifting. The South Node's going into Scorpio. And the North Node is going into Taurus. Now, if you think things have been heavy, guess what? This is a mutable axis, okay? It like mutates, it changes. This is a fixed axis, okay? Where things want to consolidate. Things want to be made solid, fixed, right? And of course, this rules death, yeah. And endings, as well as secrets. And as well as what we call the negative emotions. Jealousy, possessiveness, revenge, all these, types of things that when you are attached to something and you don't want to lose it or leave it or have it go, you can become a little obsessive compulsive, to put it nicely. You know what I'm saying? So, the dark side, the South Node moving through Scorpio here, okay, says that yes, all the demons and dragons and snakes are going to be coming up out of the holes and through the grass and into your bed, and we're all going to get a little shadow work, and it's only for a year and a half. So this is where this north node is in Taurus, right? You know, and that node in Taurus is saying, yes, you know, this is codependency. This is self-sufficiency. Yeah, you know, it's really time to really break those old patterns, okay, of I need you to complete me, right? It's all part of this Leo Aquarius, you know, if we're going to get in touch with our own creativity. So, you know, there may be like more lockdowns or more, you know, ways of separating or isolating or, you know, but if you voluntarily, you know, say, hey, guess I'd like to do some Vipassana. You know, I like to like shut my mouth for a month and, you know, walk around the hills, you know. I mean, or, you know, if you engage, right, and you move in that direction, you don't need to get pushed. Right? You know, and it's like, okay, wow, I'm going to do a new hobby or a new, you know, something that I, you know, haven't, you know, some creative enterprise or whatever. Learn a new instrument or start singing or whatever the hell. I mean, you know. Taurus would be more massage and tantra, I suppose, but self-pleasure. That's it. Scorpio is, yeah. Anyway, this is with a partner. Taurus is by yourself. You can be your own best partner. Learn some new techniques there. Anyway, Uranus will come up with some new technical devices. There's a North Node Uranus conjunction, you know, coming up next July. And that should be very interesting. Anyway, you know, let's keep moving. So we also have Chiron. Yeah, Chiron is the wounded healer. It is kind of a new planetoid discovered in 1977, some associated with Christ consciousness. He has an elliptical orbit that comes inside the orbit of Saturn and outside of the orbit of Uranus. So he's the rainbow bridge between the third dimension and the multidimensional consciousness, right? And so he is also then called the wounded healer. Yes, very often seen and heard. He goes around every 51 years. So at the age of 51, for sure, we all kind of come into this particular initiation into kind of being an elder. Has a lot to do with menopause with women. Has a lot to just kind of do with, okay, I thought by now I would have it together. I think I'm missing something. But anyway, and like I say, of course, if you hear the Paley report, your wound becomes your medicine. Yeah, the wound becomes the medicine. There's obviously approaches to the wound. I can avoid, deny, and escape my wound because it's too painful. I can numb myself out. I can get addicted to things or people or places or substances or da-da-da. I can, pretend that it doesn't hurt. I can hide to the state of being catatonic. I can, just kind of like not be that. So wherever it is in your natal chart, I always call that the flat tire of your zodiac. That sign just doesn't work for you. It's not a fun archetype. Yeah. So, then you can also, another one is overcompensate. Overcompensate. So let's look at it. It's in Aries. Okay. It's been there since 2017. I think, and it's there until 2026. Again, 2026 comes up. We're working on healing the wounded masculine. We're working on healing the wounded warrior. I'm doing a whole workshop on that in Peru in February. So this is a very powerful medicine here. Chiron was the greatest healer, mentor, teacher in all of Greek mythology. Yeah? Jason, Achilles, Hercules, they all tutored under Chiron. Super powerful wisdom keeper. He was immortal until he was wounded with a poison arrow. Yeah? And, he was still immortal. That was the problem. He was in eternal pain. Yeah? Until he asked to die. He gave up. his immortality. And he freed Prometheus from the rock. Because Prometheus was tied to the rock with the griffin eating his liver out every night, every day, and it growing back every night, until someone would volunteer to take his place. Well, Chiron volunteered to take his place. So he liberated. It's almost like got kind of an ego thing. He was actually born of time and space. Saturn is time, and Phlira was a water nymph, and water symbolizes a space to the ancient Greeks. So time and space were his parents. And then he was abandoned. His mother couldn't, he was so ugly, Phlira went away, and Saturn just got back to work. And so Apollo actually raised Chiron. Yeah? So he's this super powerful, very different kind of a centaur energy that is kind of relatively new. We always say that when there's some unconscious aspect of the psyche that we're ready to become conscious of, they discover a planet to track it. So as of 1977, we are collectively ready, to consciously become aware of this powerful healing energy of Chiron. And so what does he do? He's got this elliptical orbit where, guess what? He comes in closest to the sun. Well, right now, basically, he's outside the orbit of Uranus right now. He goes his slowest through Aries, 8 years. And then 7 years. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 years. He's inside the orbit of Saturn as he goes through Libra, right? And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 through Aries. You get that? Comes in closer to the sun, faster, farther away from the sun, slows down. So he's really, it's very interesting, isn't it? That the warrior, the masculine, the Mars energy is most in need of healing. Chiron is spending the most amount of time in this sign of Aries. Yeah? And he's going to be coming up to, I don't have Eris in here, but Eris is at 24 Aries, and I'm not even going to go there tonight. But, and of course he's going to come up into a square with Pluto before he leaves. That's why I'm saying, these nice guys. And then Saturn's going to come around and hit Neptune. Chiron's going to square Pluto. We've got, some shit hitting the fan before. But then what happens is what? This is like so magical. In 2026, what do we have here? Uranus is in a beautiful trine to Pluto. And they're both sextile Neptune. And it's almost like, whoa, the darkest hour is just before the dawn, because this is really going to be super powerful. And Jupiter is going to be flying around over there, and Chiron's going to get the hell out of Aries. So by then we should, have our dicks back. Sorry, that just slipped out. But there is this. This is like you can overcompensate. This is like getting a machine gun and mowing down people, or trying to prove how powerful you are, through acts of ignorance. So there's this overcompensate, or there is this sheepish baby ram that doesn't want to fight or argue, or I'll just do what I'm told because I don't have any adrenaline, or Mars rules our adrenal glands. Okay, it rules our testosterone. I don't have any testosterone. So this is the thing, right? Everybody has a Mars and a Venus. This weekend our workshop is on Mars and Venus. We all have this masculine and feminine energy, and we're going to explore it more deeply, okay? And so, we'll be getting, deeply into this Aries archetype. But we just want to understand that, this is part of a larger process of initiation, of reclaiming our power and finding what is that wound? What is inhibiting us from asserting our want, our desire, our will. It's why not ask? Why not say what I really want? Own my desires without shame and guilt. And this is the square to Capricorn. Aries is naturally square Capricorn. Okay? And so, Capricorn and Saturn have to do with guilt. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Right? And there's consequences for that. There's karma. And it goes on and on and on. With external authorities. I mean, this is the family axis. And Aries is, just the newborn that, just says, gimme. And finding what is that wound? What is inhibiting us from asserting our want, our desire, our will? It's why not ask? Why not say what I really want? Own my desires without shame and guilt. And this is the square to Capricorn. Aries is naturally square Capricorn. Okay? And so, Capricorn and Saturn have to do with guilt. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Right? And there's consequences for that. There's karma. And it goes on and on and on. With external authorities. I mean, this is the family axis. And Aries is, just the newborn that, just says, gimme. So whatever is in, we all kind of need to heal, this aspect of our, soul, psyche, that, is shaming us for wanting more. And then there's Neptune. And then I can finish because Neptune is going to take us way out there. Pisces, ruler of Neptune. Neptune goes around every 165 years. Okay? Right around, 38 to 40 or so, Neptune squares Neptune. It's part of that midlife transition between 38 and 42. Very exciting years of life. And so it is coming on. It's actually opposing the United States Neptune next year. And so they're having their Pluto return, Neptune opposite Neptune, and even more. It's really amazing what's going on with the United States chart. So it spends 14 years in a sign. It came into Pisces in 2018. It's going to stay there until 2026. So it's home. It rules Pisces. It's like, oh yes, the collective unconscious. Neptune, Neptune in your natal chart wants to show you your illusions as well as your dreams. So it has this, and it rules the immune system because it's no boundaries, no laws, no rules. Love, infinite unity. It's the higher octave of Venus. It's spiritual love. And Venus is earthly love. How we take this concept or this beautiful spiritual love and personalize it into individual relationship. Venus is how the soul connects to the body. Yeah? And so, and then how the soul connects to the body also, is reflected in the type and form of relationship that we can encounter outside of ourselves as a mirror. Yeah? Get that out of there. Make me self-conscious. What was I saying?
A mirror.
Oh, a mirror, yeah. So anyway, Neptune is very tricky. It has to do with thieves. A lot of the old astrology books, Neptune is really bad. Thieves, liars, deceit, mysteries, secrets hidden that are gonna destroy whatever. But there's also, of course, then the flip side. Which is the yogi and the mystic and nirvana, samadhi, meditation, breath work, things that, like open up. It rules the crown chakra. Neptune is the crown chakra. So it's like, so like we say, it's this place, I call it's the paradox. Where opposites coexist without canceling each other out. It's multidimensional realities. It's moving out of this third dimension ego polarity of this is good and that's bad and I like this and I don't like that to it just is. It all is. So it is this. It has to do with this heart space of compassion, and that compassion, has to begin with self, which leads to forgiveness, and forgiveness begins with self. And then we can branch out like the ripples on a pond and start having more compassion and more forgiveness. And this compassion and forgiveness can connect us and unite us as spirit beings that are so much more than these temporary physical bodies. And this is this potential, right, of really experiencing, this love. And so this love is, what can I say, the Eskimos have 26 different words for snow. We can have 1,000 different words for love. It means there are so many different types, so many different kinds, so many people, they say, I love you, and it's like, just, could you be more specific? It's like, whoa, what are you saying? I also feel like, this is a time of understanding, of penetrating the mysteries of love. The power of love. The power of love is so healing. It is the ultimate power. It's like there's so much more to it. It's like creativity and love have a relationship, And this discovery, it's almost like bringing the multi-dimensions into the third dimension or something, It's like this big, this big funnel, this big opportunity. And that same thing then, of course, spiritual love is, it's a knowing, it's a feeling, it's the subtle energy. It's the subtle world that goes beyond our physical senses, and it refines us. So it makes us all more sensitive. We're all becoming more sensitive as Neptune entered Pisces. We're all becoming more psychic. Our crowns are all opening, and part of that makes it easy to be overwhelmed. It's like when you're more sensitive, you are more aware of all the different stuff. It's like, could I go back to ignorance? Ignorance is bliss, right? It's like you start seeing and feeling and sensing and owning and more sympathy, and you become an empath, and it's like, oh my God, would you get off of me? And how do I get rid of that? And it's like, oh, what's something stuck over here? It's just like, oh my God, right? And it's almost in some ways like a return to innocence. And it's like that deer in the headlights. It's like, So there's a lot of people in a state of, it's asthma. Asthma is, where you are in a permanent state of like overwhelm, right? So this is a time where like we can really be overwhelmed as we open up more and more of our senses, extra senses, yeah? And so we need to like really be aware, right? And be able, through that awareness, to create containers, safe, pure, wholesome, loving containers, for our work. And this is what is like, what can be really beautiful about Saturn moving into Pisces. Now, when people have Saturn going through their 12th house for 2.5 years, and of course Saturn aspects also has to do with despair, suicide. Okay, I mean this is the bottom of the barrel. This is where Saturn comes and steps on and crushes all of your dreams. Yeah, it's like my dream, my innocence, my fantasy. Saturn comes in. This is fucking reality, man. Get a job. It's like Or Saturn comes around, and your dream. Okay, right? You've developed and you've tapped into, and you are going to bring your dream into reality. And Saturn is going, and Neptune is going to say, guess what, buddy? Yeah? This is the new reality. Yeah? And it's imbued with love. It's birthed out of love, because I am the infinite potential, and you are the temporary third dimension. Yeah? So like take your place. Yeah? It's really this is a very interesting dynamic that will be coming around that Saturn Neptune, and it's very interesting that it happens at 0 degrees of Aries. The very beginning of a whole new, I think it's like a 40-year cycle, Saturn Neptune. This whole beginning of a whole new start. Like a whole new paradigm. A whole new reality. And this again, it goes back and forth over it, like I say, from the middle of 2025 into early 2026.
2026 is the year.
So if you can just hang in there till 2026. Of course, I got to say, not just hang in there. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of inner work to do. We have a lot of research, to do around love and the different manifestations, the different, aspects, the different sides of love and what love is, and then around creativity, right? Around personal creativity and our ability to create our space, of love. Yeah? So, these are some things that come to me tonight. Let's all just rub our palms together. Place our hands in prayer pose with the thumbs at our heart chakra. All inhale together. I mean, we could end with the Kundalini song. Oh, yeah. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Mm-hmm. Followed by 3 Sat Nams. Sat is infinity, Nam is identity. We want to connect with our infinite identity. Inhale together. Inhale to begin. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. We want to send that all the way around the world. We want to just wrap the planet with love. Ready? And let it hit you in the back this time. Ready? Namaste. Hello.